Hello, and welcome back to the Coop de Villa channel. I'm Scott Cooper, and I'm here with Noah Fisher and special guest Max Stokes from Villa on Tour to talk about Brighton versus Aston Villa from the weekend. Unai Emery's third game in charge, our final game before the World Cup, and we got the 3 points. So we'll be getting into all of that after this. All right, so we were at the Amex Stadium and looking for 2 wins in 2 in the Premier League for Unai Emery, and we got our special guest Max. Max, thanks so much for coming on, mate. It's great to finally meet you. And how was it down there at Brighton on Sunday? It looked like an amazing atmosphere in the away end.
Yeah, firstly, thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it. I'm very buzzing after the other day at the Amex. It was a really good away day. I always look forward to going down to Brighton. It's a lot nicer than Leeds, Noah, when you came to the UK and went to that Leeds away game. It's a lot nicer on the south coast. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Have a few beers on the beach. But yeah, like you said, the atmosphere was absolutely fantastic and nice to get the 3 points, 6 out of 6 for Unai Emery. It's not too bad, is it?
Well, that's it. Yeah, well, we've all obviously watched the video from the other day. You guys down at the beach there, with Jamie and Simon there, and yeah, I think we've all went into game confident we could get something, just because we've got this weird bogey sort of situation against Brighton where we seem to always get decent results against them. But after going 1-0 down so early, well, I know I was thinking, oh, here we go. But to come back just shows a bit of backbone. I thought that was great.
We've seen it all too many times, haven't we? Going
Yeah.
down early, like inside the first minute, it's shocking. But yeah, I was the same. I think the Villa we've known to see this season. You think, right, shocking start to the game. We all know what's coming. You can kind of see the pattern of the game unfolding in front of you. But to come back from behind for the first time away from home since I think Tottenham during the lockdown season, absolutely
Yeah.
buzzing, absolutely buzzing. So really, really good result. And it's just a shame there's a World Cup plonked in the middle of our season. But what can we do?
Well, that's it. Yeah. I mean, it's the same situation for everyone. Everyone goes on about 6 weeks break now, I think it is. Liverpool is the next match when we get back in December. So it's going to be a good opportunity, Noah, for Unai Emery just to take stock. He's got the 6 points, and we can sort of work on some of those sort of defensive errors that we saw with the opening goal, and maybe work on this new possession style that he's trying to adopt.
I mean, definitely. I think they're going to Dubai. I think they're jetting off pretty soon to go there, do some warm weather training, which I obviously thought Brisbane would have been warm enough for him, but obviously got to go to Dubai and get more fitness in. But I think it's a great opportunity. I just don't think we got the players that Unai Emery like for his style for the playing out the back. But I think obviously got to make use of what he's got for now. I mean, if they can get him going, get a bit of training, get a bit of practice, I think Constant might be better at the play style than Tyrone Mings, but who knows, go from there and hopefully come back against Liverpool and see a different type of Villa.
Yeah, well, that's it. With the possession style, it's very much a case of, sort of risk reward and, sort of doing it at the right times and that sort of thing. But I'm glad that, Unai Emery at least has a plan, Max. In this game, we saw quite a few changes within the game. I think that, with Steven Gerrard, that was one of our criticisms, throughout the early part of the season, is that, we saw the same people on the field, the sort of same 12, 13 players played all the time. He was reluctant to make changes, and it seemed like, when we were losing matches, that he really didn't know what he was doing at times, and to turn it around. But Unai Emery went to 6 at the back at one point. We saw some changes like that, and I think that just shows what a experienced and savvy manager he is.
Yeah, it's not going to be perfect straight away, is it? We can all see what he's trying to do, and already in the first 2 games, we can see what he's trying to do, and that is more than we could see for the whole 10, 11, 12 games we had Steven Gerrard in charge for this season. So I'm happy with it. It's going to take a little bit of getting used to. I think maybe going to be a little bit difficult. We are going to see a couple of mistakes, like we saw in the Man United Cup game. I think that was down to a couple of individuals, as we know. But yeah, it's going to take time. I think this, although we all moan about the World Cup, I think it's going to be valuable as well, just to get the playing style going and get the players used to it. Unai Emery getting to know his players a little bit more, because he's still so new to it. So it'll be good to get him to know them inside out, basically. And hopefully, like you said, after the international break, I fancy us against Liverpool at Villa Park, rocking on Boxing Day. That will be a really, really interesting one for sure.
Definitely. I think we everyone will be excited to come back for that one. But Noah, we were a bit lucky. Could you say in this game? I think with the penalty, the Digne challenge on Solly March. I expected it to. At least the referee to go and have a look at that one, and I expected a penalty, but VAR gave us some luck this time.
I mean, it's the first time I can remember that VAR has actually been generous to us, not giving a penalty. Watching it live, I didn't really know what to think about it. I didn't really know. Like, obviously, you just play on, and then when you watch the replays back, everything in slow motion looks worse. But I can see why Brighton fans aren't happy. I think if it was in like a Villa situation, like let's say it was, I don't know, Cash getting whacked by one of their players, I'll probably say penalty. But I think he's trying to clear the ball. He didn't have eyes on Solly March. I don't think he really knew where Solly March was. But I see why Brighton fans might be upset about it.
It's one of those ones where if it was given on the field, it definitely would not have been overturned. I think we got lucky there. So maybe with the McGinn one as well, the R penalty, the fact that it was given straight away, that was never going to be overturned. So yeah, I think we were fortunate, but I think we deserved a bit of luck. We've had some terrible decisions go against us this season and last season, but no, it's good to see that we could just stick it out and sort of show that gritty side that maybe wasn't there under Gerrard. But Max, I'll go to you about Villa on tour now, and I just wanted to ask you a couple of questions. Firstly, where did the idea come about for Villa on tour? And were you guys, Simon and Jamie and all those guys, were you guys all mates before the channel started?
We'll get onto that. I think the how it started was I've always had an interest in like cameras and a bit nerdy like that. I've always wanted to be like a cameraman. So even from like a young age, I was making like videos with like Lego and stuff like that, just making stupid little videos. And it was actually my sister's camera that she had just for doing whatever she wanted to do. And I always went home and away anyway with the Villa. So I just thought one day I'll take it to the football and see what happens. I'll put a little video on YouTube, see what happens, show my mates at school and see what they think and things like that. It just started getting a little bit of traction. So it was really good to see Villa fans seeing it, and it was just getting bigger and bigger. And I think it was the promotion season, because we were so good and there were so many unbelievable games in that season. It just got a lot of traction, people on social media getting attention towards it, and it was fantastic. People started recognizing me at Villa Park, which is absolutely mad. I still love it to this day. I love speaking to people that watch the videos. It's absolutely fantastic. So it kind of came from that, and then with the lads as well. I went to school with Owen since I was about 2 or 3, so I've known him since I was very, very small. And then Jamie went to college with Owen and met him through him, so like a mutual friend kind of thing. And then Simon was just through going to the Villa, so I actually met him in Leipzig when we went to the pre-season game in 2019. Just got chatting to him, got on really well, and then we just started. He came on our coach, so it just kind of went from there. So we've got a big group of us that go, and I think that's why it's so good. I think we all kind of work together, and you can see that we're genuine mates and we get along so well, and it comes across on the video, I think. So it's like that. Yeah, we all get along, and it's really, really fun to do with those lads that you get on with so well.
Well, that's it. I think that's what makes the video is just the build up to the games. You guys, having a laugh, having a crack together. And I know that, from Noah telling me the stories of when he was over there, that it's an amazing time. And there's a lot of stuff that doesn't get on the video that's a lot of fun as well. But
a little bit.
It's amazing. It's really taken off, and we love it. And we love to just wait after every game for the video to drop, so we can, especially us fans over here in Australia, for example, we can never get to the game. So it's amazing just to see, like what it's like there, and feel like you are part of it. because we're watching it on TV in the middle of the night, and it's you're sitting there with a blanket and a cup of coffee or whatever. But it's
Not quite the same, is it?
Nah, it's not quite the same. But it's great to see just that energy, and you guys having a great time. So you're doing a great job. What I was going to say is what was some of the best away limbs, some of the best away days that you've had on, since the time doing the video? I mean, I'm guessing, like, for me, when the Birmingham away in that promotion season, that must have been absolutely incredible.
I hate Derby Day. I absolutely hate it, just because you can't enjoy it. You can't enjoy it until that final whistle or when we've scored. And even when we've scored, like within 60 seconds, you're going back to like being really nervous and feeling sick. So it's a completely different experience going to a Derby game. It really, really is. Although obviously, as soon as the final whistle goes, you're absolutely loving it.
Yeah.
But I think going back to the Championship, we just had some unbelievable days in the Championship. I think it's a completely different league to the Premier League. And obviously, we were the big fish in the small pond in the Championship. And like I said, it's completely different in the Premier League. I think what stands out for me is that 10-game winning run was absolutely unbelievable. Like, that is something that will stick with me for the rest of my time. It was so good going to each one of those games. I'm so lucky to do that, and it was unbelievable. I think the highlights for me was Sheffield Wednesday away, scoring a late winner, and then going on to score another one as well. Just the team we had back then as well: Grealish, Abraham, Mings in the Championship, Steer coming in. That whole storyline. There was just so much going on. Dean Smith, of course, I've obviously loved the bloke. It was just unbelievable. And Albion in the playoffs. Whenever anybody asks me a similar question, there, Albion in the playoffs always come to mind. Home game was unbelievable, and then 3-4 days later, that away game. There's various photos of me in tears in that away end. It was just absolutely fantastic. Again, it's one of them where you feel sick because of the penalty shootout. It felt like that game went on for about 4 or 5 hours, but genuinely, that's one of the best nights I've ever had. It was unbelievable.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And we had some pretty good away scenes on Sunday. Noah, like when the Danny Ings goal went in, the what eventually was the winner. Brilliant scenes again. And you were at Brighton when Jack equalised that first year. We were back up in the Premier League, so you've been in that away end.
Yeah, I think it's actually quite a special away end, and I'm not sure what it is. There always seems to be good limbs at Brighton for some reason. Obviously, I wish I was there on Sunday, but I'm not to be. But honestly, watching it live, I was waiting for that goal to be ruled out for the foul. Like, obviously, it happened so quick, and then you see back, and Louise actually wins the ball cleanly. It's kind of like a remake of the first goal, like, us destroying their counter attack or the pressure, everyone to kind of say. And then I was waiting for it to be ruled out, and then just because the way it trickled over the line, obviously it took a massive deflection. It goes in, and then you just see the fans going mental, and the photos after it make it for me. Like the ones with the flares. Douglas Luiz absolutely loving it. Like, who would have thought, if you go back to Arsenal away, when it's looking like he's going to go in the window, we're not going to have him, then he re-signs. It's just, what a turnaround, honestly.
Well, that's it. I think he's, definitely, grown since signing that new contract and sort of, sorting out his whole future. And, we've put Dendoncker in next to him. Well, Aaron Danks did, first of all. And then now we've got Kamara in there next to him. And I think we look so much more settled in the midfield. I think that's been the one big change, Max, that I've noticed, since Gerrard has left, is that system that Gerrard had in the midfield where where McGinn used to go out wide and Rams used to try cover the wingers. We look so exposed in the middle of the park, especially on the counter attack and transitions that, we got cut apart so much that now it just looks like we are the team that have all the time and space in the middle of the park. It's amazing turnaround.
Nice, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's really nice to see how fast it can change. But yeah, the mid. I don't want to talk about the whole Steven Gerrard thing. It just went on and on and on. Like, even the start of this season, the amount of times where we just rock up to a game and you just know exactly what you were going to expect, because we could all see the problems, and like you've just touched on there, we can all see what the problems are. But you just go into the next game and you know exactly what you're going to see. And that Bournemouth away game, the first one of the season, your problems start right there. The midfield, where, like you said, the midfielders are covering the fullbacks, and it was Kamara that day so exposed in the midfield. We get absolutely run through. But it's nice to have a little change. I think Louise and Kamara going forward, they're such a classy pair together. Got a bit of everything. You just destroying that midfield. Absolutely beautiful to see. Like you got so much class in that midfield. And then even if Dendoncker has been brilliant in the last couple of games, he doesn't even get in that side. So it's nice to have that option. It is really, really nice to have that option. I think McGinn's had a lot of he's been a bit of a talking point in the last few months, but to be fair, on Sunday against Brighton, I thought he was absolutely brilliant. He was playing in a slightly different role. He didn't have that sort of pressure to break up play and be that defensive midfielder because Louise and Kamara got that covered. So it was nice to see McGinn given a little bit more freedom. I think he was popping up out wide as well. So and especially in the last sort of 15, 20 minutes when we were hanging on, I thought he was absolutely great. He really was. So it'd be nice to see the McGinn that we know is there. It just needs a little bit more confidence and a little bit of a regular game time. But is he going to get in that side? That's the question.
Well, that's it. I mean, going back to that promotion season and the first year in the Premier League before he broke his ankle, he was on fire and he used to score regular goals and he was a threat. He used to, just run about everywhere. And, he's never been the quickest, which I think hurt him when he came back and he was playing in that more defensive role that he couldn't get about the park, as well as others. But when he's playing in that more forward role that he does for Scotland, have to cover defensively, and he can get forward and he can get on the ball and he can make things happen. I think that's his best position. But we hung on a bit, Noah, at the end of the match. They had that header right at the end that I thought, oh, this is it. They're going to equalise. But there was the penalty shout as well that we've already touched on. But it was really gritty, and I thought, it was the sort of thing that maybe under Gerrard that, we would have conceded and we would have crumbled.
Oh, 100%. I mean, you go back to this season, we couldn't defend to save our lives, let alone hang on for 15 minutes, 8 minutes at a time. I think 7 yellow cards we had, the most we've ever had in the Premier League. Everyone was just doing it for the team, to be honest. I look at the Ashley Young tackle on Lamptey. He obviously knew Lamptey had him for pace to bring him down. Brighton fans are happy with the way you play, but 3 points are 3 points. They're so crucial, especially when you're playing like us and we're only 2 points above the drop zone going into the game. We need the 3 points, our first win away from home. You look at that, it's an important win. And now we're 3 points off Europe, which is crazy to see how quickly the season can turn around. But God, that 8 minutes at a time, I could not believe it when I popped up on the TV and they're saying it before 8 minutes. You've got to be kidding. But just, 6 at the back?
I think it was 6 at the back at one point. 6-3-1.
That's how you got to do it. You got to hang on. I mean, Brighton fans on Twitter and social media, they were going crazy at Villa how disgusting we played. But I mean, you're telling me if Brighton were in that position and they won a game like that, they wouldn't be happy? I mean, you got to win games in the Premier League.
Exactly, especially how tight it is. I think this could be a real bum fight this season in terms of relegation. There could be 6 or 7 teams that could go down this season. It's really tight down there. Look at Leicester; they were gone a few months back, and now they're up with us in the sort of mid-table positions. So it's really tight, and I think these 6 points that we've got under Emery are absolutely huge going into this break. And there's so many positive signs. It's just like it's like the weight of expectations being lifted off the players, Max. And I'm just thinking, like, who do you expect, coming into this second half of the season? Who do you expect to be the real winners under Emery? Like the players that are going to, take us to where we want to be, and which players do you think, might have to, sit on the bench for a while?
I think, especially coming off Sunday, I like Danny Ings. I think I want to mention him. I think he was absolutely brilliant at the weekend. And if you look at his stats, he hasn't actually, he's been on the bench quite a bit in his Villa tenure, which is a shame to see because we were all buzzing when he came in for big money. And obviously we've got this big, proven, big money, got the record Premier League striker, and that's what we were all crying out for. And his record at Villa, to be fair, for someone who hasn't played that much football, is actually quite good. I think he's our top scorer this season. Can't remember how many it is, 5 or 6, something like that. But it's actually quite impressive. And I'd like to see him thrive under Emery. I really think he could. And having that sort of second striker with him, obviously there was no Watkins on Sunday, and that did worry me a little bit when the team news came out, obviously, because he's our only bit of pace and he's so unique, Ollie Watkins, in terms of his closing down and his goal threat and things like that as well. Obviously coming off a goal against Man United as well at Old Trafford. So I was a little bit worried about that. No Bailey, of course, as well. So I was worried about there being no pace in the team. But I'll tell you what, Danny Ings ran the show, to be fair. He got the brace, absolutely buzzing for it. I think going forward as well, I think that's where we were struggling under Gerrard. It was just so so boring and slow, and nobody really had any idea what they were doing, and we'd just cross the ball aimlessly. There'd be nobody in the box, and if there was, there'd be marked by about 4 players. So I've seen a stat somewhere on Twitter saying that we really have cut down that, and we haven't crossed the ball as anywhere near as much as when we did under Gerrard. So it's nice to see that we've actually got a plan. We know what we're doing. We know how to hurt teams. I think under Emery, it's nice to see that we can change it. Go 6 at the back. Why not? It's happened to Villa so much where we've been trying to chase a game and teams have gone down. I remember Ben Foster used to do it loads, just holding his head when we all know that he's not injured. And it's nice to not be on the receiving end of that and have a bit of game management and wind up opposition teams as well. Because how many times have we been frustrated watching Villa and other teams are doing it? So it's nice to have that little bit of nastiness about us and finding a way to win. It was a really gritty win against Brighton. It's nice to be able to win pretty like we did against Man United at Villa Park, but also have that streak in us where we can be a little bit nasty, be a little bit gritty. Not the prettiest, but who cares? We got the 3 points, and that's the main thing.
Absolutely, and it's about just being adaptable and being able to have different game plans and switch in a game. And and as you touched on earlier, I think we could see Ollie and Ings both start up front once we come back after the World Cup. I think we're playing a lot more balls into Danny Ings's feet and sort of linking up that way. And like you said, the aimless crosses into Danny Ings when he's got 2 6'3" guys around him, that sort of stuff has definitely gone out the window. And Emery has a philosophy that he's like trying to stick to. And it's going really well so far. We're cashing in. And Noah, do you think that the likes of Buendia, Coutinho, when the break finishes, do you think these guys are going to work in his system? Because there is an argument that he doesn't really use a number 10.
I mean, you say he's got to be adaptable. I mean, Buendia kind of played up alongside Danny Ings on Sunday and actually did a decentish job. I mean, I say he played alongside, that's how they put the team sheet out, but he was kind of like free roaming.
Yeah.
So to say that no, they won't work in his system, I think that's a bit harsh. I think that, I mean, you're going to have players get injured, players going to miss with suspensions. So I don't think you can rule anyone out. I mean, I think Coutinho could flourish in his system on the left where Ramsey's been playing potentially as like that free roam, kind of like, as I say, the Lo Celso role he had at Villarreal. He could flourish in that sort of system. But, I mean, it's hard to say. It's until they get back and actually play and have that month of training in Dubai and actually probably get more time spent with the players, understand what they're good at. You'll never know until we get back to Liverpool. But I know there's going to be bad days under Emery. Like, obviously, no, we're not going to win every game. Like I would have taken a point on Sunday. Like, I think a lot of people said that. Like, Brighton are playing very, very well. Like, what, they're 7th now? Like, they're pushing for European spots, and I would have taken a point to get 3 is unbelievable. But we know we're going to go to places like, if we might not beat Leeds at home, might draw them again. There're going to be days like that and games we should win. But just enjoy the good times I've got them at the moment, I reckon.
That's it. I mean, yeah, there will be difficult periods, I'm sure. But, with a team like Emery or a manager like Emery, I'm hoping, we can sort of stop the rot when it does go bad, and it won't be like a Gerrard situation where, it just seems to get worse and worse and worse, and we're just digging a bigger hole for ourselves. He's got that experience. He's got that, know-how. He's an absolute, football geek. You can tell that he's watching all the games, he's taken all the notes, he knows all the players in the Premier League, even though he's been managing Spain for years. I think maybe in my whole time as a Villa fan, this is the biggest manager we've ever signed. In terms of his record, it's amazing. 4 Europa Leagues, the French League, the French Cups. He's been there. He's done it at the biggest clubs in Europe. So it's fantastic. I think it's just the atmosphere at Villa Park last week, Max. For his first game. It reminded me of those days in the promotion days where we sort of, we had Simon on a few weeks ago, and he said under Gerrard, this was right at the worst part of the season. He was saying, I just feel like we've lost our club, and he was really down. We all were. And I just feel like we're getting a bit of that back now. I know it's early and we don't want to say too much too soon because we've been here before, but Yeah, it just really feels like we've got a direction, and these owners especially are just going to continue plowing away and until we get to where we want to be.
Yeah, and I think we've got to trust Emery now, because I think under Gerrard it was hard because he didn't have too much credit in the bank, and he'd only had one job, and it was in Scotland, and it wasn't, it's Scotland at the end of the day. We all know it's a two-horse race. So him coming in with zero credit in the bank, pretty much zero experience, it was always going to be hard for us to get behind him. And I think all the little things as well, like that Emery does that Gerrard doesn't. Gerrard running down the tunnel as soon as he could after a defeat, and Emery does that, but he does it when we win, and you can see there's just a difference. There's a complete difference about it, and Gerrard just, I could never quite get on board with it. Just, he didn't quite get it, and I could never warm to him ever. 2 games into Emery, I'm absolutely loving it. I'm just loving it. Just even what he says, the first thing he does is thank the supporters in his the post match interview. I really, really like that. He just seems like a really genuine, nice bloke. And last time we had one of them, it was Dean Smith. So I need to be careful not to fall in love with the bloke. But I tell you what, it's exciting times. It really, really is. And Villa Park, when it's on sides, there's no better place, because under Gerrard, you just knew it was going to be a little bit toxic. We knew what we were going to see. So as fans, we just never really quite got up for it. But under Emery, when things are going well, Villa Park can be that difference. It really can. It can be the difference, because when it's going well, the noise it can generate is absolutely fantastic. And I'm looking forward to, obviously, that Liverpool game at Villa Park will be bouncing. I think it's a night game on a Boxing Day. That'll be lively. And then Wolves midweek, night game again when they're struggling, although they do have a new manager. But again, it'll be so loud, and I'm buzzing for it, and I'm just not looking forward to the World Cup, but I've just got Villa on my mind all the time. So hopefully we can use this World Cup break well and come back a different animal, hopefully.
Yep. So where do you think we'll finish at the end of the season? Okay, we're going to sort of predictions. I know it's a long-term prediction. We've still got plenty of games to go. We've only played 15 games, but where do you think is a successful finish for Emery after this positive start?
Tough.
Yeah.
I think it's so tight, isn't it? We've seen what 2 wins can really take you up the table. And I think we're 2 points off 7th, or we're so close to that, and a couple of wins can really boost you up. But when Gerrard got sacked, I would have said, look, if we can get top 10, it'll be a really good turnaround, and I still stand by that.
Yeah.
But the ceiling's so high now. We could go and get that last Europa Conference spot. Why not? A couple of additions in January. Why not keep this form going? But I'd say I'd be buzzing with top 10. I really would. It is hard to be up there because teams will pick up. I think Liverpool have been struggling, and there's teams down there. Leicester are on the up as well. So teams will pick up, but then teams like Brighton, Fulham might fall away a little bit. So the opportunity's there, but I'd be more than happy with 10th. I'd go with 10th.
Yeah, it's a real shame we didn't play Leicester when they were getting beat every week.
Yes.
Because I just know that game, isn't going to be as easy now. It's
they always beat us as well.
Yeah,
they always beat us at their place.
100%. Well, Noah, is there any questions you've got for Max? Anything you want to finish up on just before we finish?
I mean, I know the World Cup is coming around. Australia's already won it, in my opinion. Like, we've already won it. We've got the
can't even win the Cricket World Cup, mate.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. But obviously, Dogs didn't win the Golden Boot. But Max, how do you think England will go? Obviously, it's the talk of the town at the moment.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I think a lot. I don't really like Southgate, to be honest. I think we know what he can we know what he's about. It's not going to be pretty. We've got the individuals though as players. We've got the individuals, so it's just a case of can he get them to gel. Our group's favourable. To be fair, I'd like to see us get out of the group, but then again, it's just how the cookie crumbles. And if we pull a France or a Germany, are we going to be able to get over the line? But I don't see us doing as well as we have in the Euros and the previous World Cup as well. So I'm not too optimistic, but hopefully we get further than Australia, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think we'll get out the group personally, but I'd love to see us.
You said Australia were going to top the group the other day.
I know. But when you got France and Denmark, I think it's I think it's just a little bit of a tough ask, a bit of a tough ask. But yeah, I think Jason Cumming, the Scottish lad, will win the Golden Boot, won't he? But obviously 5 at the back against Iran, probably to start off for England, Max.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Probably, mate.
If you could pick your lineup out of what we've got, or maybe if you could change the squad, what would your ideal England line, like game one against Iran, what would it be?
Pickford in goal. He gets a lot of stick, but I don't mind him. I want to see Trippier in there, Stones, whoever's next to Stones as well at the back. Don't think we're too blessed. It will be Maguire, but I probably won't want to see that. Luke Shaw at left back, midfield, I think is decent. Bellingham, Rice. On the wings, I want to see Sterling. Don't think he's had a great season, but purely because of what he does for England, I think he's got to be in there. On the other side, Saka, probably. And then probably Mason Mount, maybe just beyond the strike. I think Southgate likes him. Then obviously Harry Kane up top. But we've got a couple of decent options on the bench. Grealish, hopefully. Not too sour against him. Hopefully he comes on, has a little bit of an impact. Be nice to see him play for England. I'm over all of that. So hopefully he has a positive World Cup.
I think he plays a bit more with a bit more freedom for England as well than he does for City. He's very, very sort of structured at City. He can't really go where he wants, whereas for England, he seems to play a bit better. But I think England looks like they'll probably get France in the quarterfinal if everything kind of goes the way it's expected. And I don't think we'll be making it past that. Not with Benzema, Mbappe, and Cuckoo front three or whatever it's going to be for France. I don't think our defense can take that.
I mean, it could be Jason Cummings, Jay McLaren, and Aaron Moy.
Get Jedinak back. You need Jedinak.
We need Jedinak, though. He always shows up for the World Cup.
At least.
Yeah, that's all he does. I mean, I think it was the 2018 World Cup. He scored. I think we scored 2 goals, all penalties from Mila Jedinak. And boy, do we celebrate like we're winning the game, no matter when we score. We love a World Cup goal.
Yeah, Villa scored against France that day. It wasn't Jedinak.
Yeah, it's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But obviously, Max, the World Cup comes at a weird time, but the content for you probably doesn't stop. I think you said you got Cardiff, and then you got the Villarreal game when we come back. So you're looking forward to those two?
Yeah, I'll do a little bit of content. Probably not on the World Cup, but yeah, that Cardiff game, looking forward to that. I don't think there's too many Villa fans going. I think there's only like 300, 400, 500 potentially, but it's a day out. We'll all be missing the Villa by then anyway. I think it's just over a couple of weeks away, so we'll be needing our Villa fix. And obviously that Villarreal game at Villa Park, that'd be a really interesting one actually. A lot of people have said that's a scouting mission for Emery to pick up a few targets in January, but yeah, it's nice that we've got a couple of Villa games to go to over this break, so we won't miss it too much, but there's nothing quite like that Premier League action. So just chomping at the bit for that to come back for sure.
All right. Well, we'll wrap up there, but thanks so much, Max, for coming on to our little Aussie Villa podcast. It's been great to have you on.
I appreciate it, mate. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
No problem at all. Like we make sure you get you guys follow and subscribe to Villa on Tour, because I know you probably already have, but look, it's we all love it. We all love to see the videos, and you're a welcome back anytime, mate, of course. And so that's it for Villa Coupe de Villa this week. Please let us know in the comments, what you're expecting when we get back from this break, any World Cup predictions, anything like that, please let us know in the comments. Please like and subscribe, and we will be back for Coupe de Villa World Cup edition. So we'll be talking about Australia, we'll be talking about England and all the games. So we will see you very soon. Thanks again, Max, and we will catch you next time up the Villa. So
Up the Villa?
Yes.